Good evening and salutation, my Days of Lives fans. You know, this show, from the time that I watched it, it's been very interesting, right? And there's all sorts of kooky things that goes on in this show. And no, I did not forget the fact that at one point in time, General Hospital had aliens. Let that just kind of sink in for me. But I know that this show has some kooky stuff, right? Possessions and mask and all sorts of stuff. But going into this episode, this scene with Paulina, Abe, and Lexi is the thing is I know what they were trying to do, right? So I'm not trying to be a dick by saying this. I know that they were trying to go for this heavy emotion and sweet and heartstrings or whatever, but this just kind of came across as laughable, right? It really came across as laughable and almost kind of insulting to some extent, but I'm choosing to sit there and see it as laughable because why is Lexi Paulina's guardian angel? I always assume that guardian angels are a loved one that has passed, a loved one of yours that has passed. But for some odd reason, they decided to put Lexi as Paulina's guardian angel. Really? And then she goes there and she starts talking about this power belief that she's not there to sit there and take Paulina to the other side and something about love or something. It will sit there and help her something. I don't really understand. But I'll tell you this much though. If this is how Paulina survives this whole thing, not with a new heart transplant, something that would actually make sense, but the power of love or some BS like that, I'm like, what the hell happened to Days? Because even possession, right? And people can sit there and say it's laughable, it's so silly and stuff like that. I actually believe that. I actually do believe that. I do believe in possessions and things of that nature. That's something that I personally believe. Now it comes across silly because they just doing it and just you know the way that they present it, but that's something that I genuinely do believe in, and I believe in guardian angels as well. But even in this context, it's just stupid. Now at one point she flatlines and she does actually wind up coming back. And I think Abe is talking about something about belief or some crap. I don't really know. I'm very curious about how they're gonna sit and get this man's memories back. Um, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna do something stupid to make it happen, and I'm gonna be sitting there just kind of shaking my head that whole time. Trip and Wendy continue to keep having these conversations despite the fact that there's very little to no air left. And the conversation was just these conversations have been so stupid and so cringeworthy that I'm partly just like, can y'all just run out of air already? So this way I don't have to sit there and listen to y'all talk. Because that would just be a gift. Just to be very clear for some people, I don't want them to die. I just want them to generally shut the F up. That's what I want. Okay? Um, and eventually they do run out of air. Um, Now, I will give Wendy credit, right? I give Wendy credit because Steve looked at what Wendy was doing, and Wendy was telling sign language, right? Steve picked up on that, and he figured out it was a brewery and stuff like that. And the reason why Steve didn't pick it up before, because he was concentrating on Trip. They went through it. They even called Rafe and sent it over the footage. So I'll give Wendy hella credit. I'm also listening, they kind of looking at this Goldman thing, right? Because, officers and training and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's mandatory, but I know it does help a lot of officers to know sign language. So the fact that she probably skipped out on that course was just a happy coincidence. I understand that cops have to probably know the law almost as good as lawyers, but also sign language does help, as well as speaking other languages. But sign language definitely does help. So it's a good thing that she kind of skipped out on that part. Now Harris is back to sit there and help. Um, there's a couple of times he looked like he's about to kill over, and they're like, I don't know if you really should be here, but they accept him here, so he's there in his leather jacket and his Jason persona, let's just be real. Now Tate comes to see Holly. He does this whole Romeo and Juliet thing where he climbs up the ladder and sees her and kisses her and everything like that. And he's so happy that this girl is alive and that she's okay, right? And what I didn't know while I was sitting there making my remarks towards Holly about, planning a party and not really giving a damn about Tate is that she didn't know that Tate got arrested for her. That he was staying in a halfway house or anything like that. She didn't know that. But he tells her. He tells her, and I gave her a lot of smoke, and that's on me. I gave her a lot of smoke, and that was a mistake. Smoke I'm giving her now, well, that's more than adequate. Because he tells her, he's like, hey, listen, you need to sit there and tell the cops and everything like that. Your stepdad got me arrested for something I didn't do. So I need you to sit there and clear me so this way I can go home to be my family. And Holly's like, I can't do that. I can't I can't disappoint mommy dearest. And I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. Hey, you've been so concerned for this girl, hoping and wishing and praying upon the star, wishing upon the star that she's okay. And now she knows what you're going through, and you can't bother to sit there and not act like a POS for 5 minutes, you self-absorbed little creature, to sit there and help this man out, who was worried sick for you, climbed probably up a dangerous ladder to sit there and be with you, snuck out the facility he's supposed to be in, and you're sitting there saying, I don't want mommy dearest to sit there and be disappointed with me. Oh, Holly, you go right back to sitting there being trash again. That's just well, that's just fitting. What does Tate do? He decides to start yelling. Bro, you're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be in her room. What are you doing? So eventually, there's knocking, and the door is, somebody's trying to open the door. Bro, you better sit there and climb out that window so fast, or hope that you got wings, or hope that you can stick that landing, because if EJ catches you, you're done. It's donezo. It's a wrap. Because Holly ain't gonna sit there and protect you. Holly is about Holly at this point. So she ain't gonna protect you. Anyway, Ava, John, and Steve find um, Trip and try to resuscitate them. And Rafe and Harris is there. And Jada was in the episode too. I don't know if she's there, but they went there to sit there and try to revive them and stuff. So it ended off on a cliffhanger. I give them that. I mean, it's a predictable one because let's be honest, we all know that they're going to survive. But it's a cliffhanger nonetheless. But I had to sit there and do a review on this. I think that's about it. There might be some more. So At this point, I'm going to sit there and say, but if you knew, I'll say it again. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about Days of Our Lives, Born and Beautiful, Young and Restless, General Hospital. I'm on my Days of Our Lives fans to sit there and come through. You know, General Hospital is a very popular conversation. It's a very popular show. And for me, the way I do my live streams is I go where the chat goes. So if the chat is not there talking a lot about General Hospital, I'll talk about a lot of General Hospital. If the chat wants to sit there and talk about Days of Our Lives, we'll talk about Days of Our Lives. Same thing with all the other ones because I watch all four. Um, It'd be cool to sit there and come through and talk about Days as well. But I had to sit there and do a review on this because I was just like, I was watching this a little bit at work, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like there was just so much stupidness in this episode that I was like, oh yeah, I gotta talk about this. I gotta sit there and do a review about this before I come on tonight to really dive in. Um, and that's one of the many things I do like about doing the live streams because you can watch a video, you can watch it wherever. That's great, and that's why I always sit there and try to do these reviews because I know some people can't sit there and make it towards live or stay in a live long. But the benefits about doing a live is that we get to actually sit there and have conversations. You get to sit there and talk to me about your opinions and what you think and what my opinion is, and we can kind of just go over it. So that's one of the many things I love about doing the lives. And that's why I always encourage people who watch Days of Our Lives to come and talk about it with me. You may know more knowledge than I do. I only started watching this show for about 2 or 3 years, give or take. I know people have been watching the show longer. So it's always nice to sit there and kind of get educated on some of the stuff that I didn't know. Anyway, like I said, I feel like there's more. We'll talk about it tonight um, for an hour and a half. We'll talk about all four episodes. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.